let us make them right for the coming future, for the people that will be a workforce tomorrow. And you see this, people are just pressing buttons, it moves, that one press buttons, programming it, we want 20 and then it will do all those 20s. I was so excited, but I said, but where are the people that are working here? I said, no. This is the people, they just press buttons the whole day, they press buttons. Okay, where do you make these robots? Now all robots come from Germany. That is where my problem came in. All robots that you see in here come from Germany program. They come here, they train us on which button to press. If the machine gets stuck, somebody fly from Germany to come to South Africa to fix the machine and go fly back. This is where we are fighting every day, saying that we have such a high rate of unemployment. Because what we do as employees and as a workforce in South Africa is more at the entail. You know, we are just more consumers, as the speakers were saying yesterday. We are there where everybody else is doing everything. If those robots were built by the South Africans in South Africa, how many people will be employed? And this is not the only environment. There are a lot of them. I went to a number of workshops in Roslyn trying to understand this. Now they'll tell you that no, we're using this system. If it gets stuck, we're not allowed to move from here. We just have to call this country to come and fix. You're not even trained to fix a machine that is stuck. So are we saying as South Africans, as a workforce, as the education system, we are that not, if I offend you with my word, you'll forgive, not intelligent or competent to can really do these things? Is it really for us to sit back and let people come into our country to take all the best, and then we just at the end, you know, pressing buttons that we don't understand? They said you press 10 times after every 2 minutes. You just try 10. You don't know why you're pressing 10 times, but when you press, you see the robot is moving. The robot is moving. When it gets stuck, it can't move anymore. You pick up the phone and somebody flies from another country to do that. Are we saying we cannot really get into that line? I just want to come here and just really poke us as South Africans to say we have so many minerals here at home that just come, people come, take it, and we buy the final product, we bring it back here at home. Really, can't we make it a final product?
We can.
Why are we taking jobs away from us to other countries? You have companies, I forgot the name of this company that came to South Africa, sort of a pyramid scheme selling groceries. Ours is organic, and I joined that company. You're joining for 2,000 Rand, and you need to get other people to join in. And once you join, they give you a product worth 5,000 Rand. And I started asking questions. Where these are organic, where do you get them? Where are you planting this? Where are you doing? No, they are done in America. Okay, so now you're bringing grocery from America, where people in America work in these soap shops and all these vitamin shops, and you're bringing them here, and they were not happy with me. So I withdrew from that moment. Said, but we gave you 5,000 Rand worth. I said, that is what you say when I join, you're giving me that. And this is where I end. But this is your business. As long as we understand it's my business, I'm ending my business here. So we get those. We are allowing people to take jobs away from us. We are allowing people from outside to take jobs from our children. We have everything. In the past, we blamed it on apartheid. But again, I'm sitting here, I'm saying those whites had the capability, the finances and resources and everything else. How come we don't have our own car? How come we have so many cars on the road? How come we can't even get to work when you're in Joburg because of the traffic of cars that are not really South African cars? Are we saying we can't build a car? Really? Because by building that car, starting that car from scratch, building it, that is job creation. I'm just asking this thing so that we can sit back and say, in what we are doing, as education system, as employers, as people with money, as government department, Are we saying really we're failing to that point? What are we doing when we are teaching our learners? Are we teaching learners towards this? Are we preparing them to think that way? Or are we still in that mode of saying, as it was described yesterday, that we don't have confidence in ourselves? Everything that is coming outside is good. It's like a black man. Everything that is coming is done by a white person is good because that is in our mind. Everything that is from Europe is good. Everything that is from anywhere else, everything that is from China is cheap. That is how we interpret things and we live on that. What is it that comes from us? What is it that we are doing? We have in this beautiful country. We are crying every day about unemployment. But what are we doing? Employers are owning their workplace. It's theirs. They do as they please. But what are we doing to make sure that everybody else is confident to say, look, I don't need to go and work at spa. I can have my own spa. I was addressing the women in, the entrepreneur women in the tourism month last year in Hammanskraal. In that, one of the things that they were talking about, complaining about, is that, you know what, we're not happy that there are trucks that are passing here every day, taking cabbages to Pretoria, to the market in Pretoria, and we are sitting here with cabbages, no one is taking them to Pretoria. Next time we are going to block the highway, and I asked them, why do you want to take your cabbages in Pretoria? For you to leave Hammanskraal to go back to Pretoria and buy them. I mean, really, when they're in Pretoria, how many white people eat cabbage, people? This is ours. So we go there, we have a funeral on Saturday, I'm going to buy 5 bags. Why don't I create market here where I am and let the community buy from me? Why do I want to take these things to Pretoria so that people can pay to go to Pretoria and come back? Why can't we see that what we are doing has value and will create jobs? I hope I'm making sense in what I'm saying. We have education systems in South Africa that are very critically confusing. The academics, the SITAs and all that, you will forgive me. In 2013-2014, I conducted a research on tourism with Umalusi, Department of Tourism, trying to understand why is it that the industry is refusing to take students from the universities, is refusing to take students from the TVET colleges. And yet the students have done the hospitality qualification like any other learner, but they will hire learners who have done learnership. So we wanted to break that bridge. It was not easy. My first meeting with the industry and the academics and everybody else that I thought was important to help in this thing was a nightmare. For 2 weeks, we could not reach anything. The employers are standing here and say, we are important. We are going to be employing those people. You do what we want. And what we want is a learnership. We're saying, but there are million students at tertiary, there are million students at TVET colleges. If you don't hire them, where they're supposed to go? Let's just try and see where are we not meeting and try to really align so that you can have a trust in this qualification. The CEO will call me every day, are you still alive? Because he knew then that there is a war. But by the end of the second week, everybody else had learned to respect each other. And we managed to get to the bottom of everything. And we established that the 3 learnership programs in hospitality are equivalent to level 2, level 3, level 4 NCV in hospitality. The structure of the qualification was different, but the content was the same. The offering is different because the other one is in the workplace, the other one is working in a they are demonstrating the kitchens and all that, but they're not dealing with the custom. But the content were the same. So are you saying you don't like learners that are practicing in that? So what do we do? Let's work towards that. Let's help all these learners. In that instant, you could see that the SITAs are protecting their qualification with the employers supporting them. You're sitting with people from universities, people from Umalusi who are saying, look, skill is not us. What do you do with somebody who knows? You train somebody to make tea, then what? that person has reached a syllabus, or that person make tea and can stop at the corner there and make tea and serve people, sell tea and make money. Not everybody can be a lecturer, not everybody can be a professor, not everybody can be a doctor. So we have to accept that and see how we link the two. TVET colleges is even worse. They have two education systems that don't talk to each other. They have your hospitality NCV, they have the NATED hospitality. In trying to merge the two, they will say when the learner complete level 4 NCV, he can do an N6 in it. But when you look at the content, the NCV content is even higher than the content in N4. And they just do that to look like there is a connection. There is no connection. Education system, we need to sit down and look into this thing. We are killing our own children. Hence, we are producing what we are producing today. You have universities offering same thing, hospitality. When you look at the content, because at some point we had to benchmark this thing, the first year in tourism, the green tourism, is even lower than the NCV level 4. But they won't accept that learner simply because he has done one language or because he's coming from TVET colleges. Inconsistent. One university will just accept learners without a question. The other one will accept the learners with conditions. The other one won't accept at all. So what are we doing? Why is it okay for Free State to accept learners when it's not okay for Solplakin not to accept learners? What are we doing wrong? Because whatever we are doing wrong, holding into that, because when we are in those meetings, the universities will tell you how important the university qualification is as compared to others. Others are nothing. But when you sit with people and say, let's analyze, let's look deep into this thing, you realize that, but really, what are we doing? When Elena completed TVET college, he has nowhere to go. Do NCV level 2, level 3, level 4, NATED level 4, 5, 6, 6 years in an institution. Has nowhere to go. Cannot be accepted by the industry, cannot be accepted by university. You end up doing 7-year learnership. Complete learnership, industry might still accept the learner. But the university will not accept the learner. After 7 years course in hospitality, they won't accept that learner. When they get to university, university will have its own rules. At times, they even scratch it like it never existed. And then the learners start from scratch. So we need to really look into this thing because we are affecting the workplace. We are affecting the workforce. If the industry can understand what we are doing, it will be easy for them to employ our learners. But if we don't understand what we are doing, how do we expect them to understand? So they will keep to what they know, which is learnership. They have this learner is coming to them, train them that learner for a year, and then they will have that learner. You have, above that, you have your SITA qualifications, 21 SITAs, everyone with his own qualification. While we say we're settling, there is QCTO, we're moving, we're all still confused to say really what is happening. One day QCTO is taking over, tomorrow, no, we're extending for 3 months. And so these things are so unsettling. They're not preparing us for anything. When we talk the fourth industrial revolution and we still don't understand the education system that we're having, that is very old, by the way. It is very old. You look at your NCVs, your NATED that were scratched out when NCV came. Because the workforce at that point believed that if a learner hasn't done N1 and N2 and 3, I cannot hire this learner. We had to bring those in. Why? Why can't we just work in what we have and make people understand that what we are having right now is covering what you want? Instead of trying to all the time creating something new to please the next person. The working in silos has to come to an end. We need to start talking. We need to start talking about things that are really impacting the education system, that are impacting the workplace, for us to be able to prepare the learners accordingly, for us to be able to do one and the same thing. When somebody is in Limpopo is training a learner, you know that he's doing the same thing as somebody who is in Cape Town. Right now it's different. Our university systems, their own qualification at the same level, the contents are different. And they will tell you that this is how we identify ourselves. This is what makes us special. But it makes you special. Does it mean that when this learner go to another university, will be accepted, will be credited, will be... No, those kind of things, really, we have to look at them without looking at ourselves, without trying to be seen as good academics, to be seen as good people in the industry. It's not about us. Program Director, thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to ask you to come through here, ma'am, and please declare this. As a belief, yeah.
Can you?
Or must I come and give?
Be in this.
Oh.
I was doing this yesterday.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for all the questions that you have asked us. You have mentioned quite a number of things that needs to be answered, but I will not request anyone to respond to the questions here, because I think the purpose of your presentation here basically was just to make sure that we reflect on these issues. So thank you very much. I just want to also add this. You were given 7 minutes. You took the full complement of what you were given originally. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. And now we're going to go to the report backs, but now we're going to have to be a bit strict, colleagues, with time, because I know that at some point colleagues would want to be flying out, to be driving out. So I'm going to request a timekeeper, Mr. Korombe, 10 minutes for each and every report back that comes through. And then we will take all of them, and then we'll allow space for additional comments and clarities after that. So the first one is going to be the one on 4IR. So we have the commissioner, but I'm not sure if the commissioner is going to be the one who's going to report back. So Dr. Tapiwa Gundu, we welcome him with a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. So we're strict on time, 10 minutes. If he's not finishing, I will stand up and sing Shinwam. Is that okay?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Program Director. And thank you very much for being generous, for giving us 10 minutes, because I think I'm going to use only 5. Okay, our task was to tackle the 4th IR. And the way we approached it, we discussed in brief, because we didn't want to do a half job. So we discussed in brief all the questions that we had there, and then we now allocated members of the group to go and research more on those and elaborate and give a report. And then we're going to consolidate a report which everybody in the group is now going to comment. Then we're going to give a full report to everyone. So I'm just going to talk about those that we touched without the research, what we discussed today before the in-depth research. So we discussed the skills that are going to be required within in the period of 5 to 10 years from now. And we all agreed that the skills are mostly going to be soft skills. Reason being, we are not very sure what skills are going to be needed. So it's better to give a soft skill which will be able to solve a problem than to give a skill that will be irrelevant when it comes to application of the 4th IR. So we thought maybe we should actually make sure that people become critical thinkers instead of just becoming bearers of knowledge. that just have knowledge. Because remember, things have changed from the 19th century, where people just needed to load information to their head. But now information is at our disposal. We've got the internet, so you can always just go and get the information. But now we just need critical thinking. How do you use that information to solve a problem? So it has moved from having the knowledge to being able to use the knowledge to solve the problems. We also talked about adaptability. It doesn't mean that everybody in this room is going to be of no use then. We now need to make sure that everyone has got adaptability skills to adapt from whatever ways of doing things they've been using to the new ways of doing things in the fourth industrial revolution. We also discussed that also children need to be productive. You see, the education system that we have now, children are not productive. We only start being productive at 21 years. But is that the system that we want, or was it just enforced on us? Is that what the fourth industrial revolution needs? Because you find that even 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds are now productive. Should we just wait for them until they're 21? What if that skill of their productiveness is now absolute when they become 21? Can't we allow them now to be productive? We also discussed how the universities, mostly the traditional universities, lack the technical aspects of, in terms of skilling people. We discussed how it's mostly theoretical, and instead of having a balance between the theory and the practical aspect, as we see in the technicons and the TVET colleges. We also agree that there is also need for some ICT skills to be learned. However, in terms of the qualifications, we were in agreement that most likely we don't need to have qualifications for this, but actually instead short courses. Because remember, for a qualification, by the time you start your first year and by the time you get to your fourth year, your first year skills are probably already absolute anyway. So we need skills that are actually quick now and then. Remember, if somebody has got a qualification, it is actually proof that they can learn something. So it's not necessarily that what's written on the paper is all what they can do. It's just proof that we can teach them something and they can learn it. So even if we give them a new skill, we've got evidence. Even if they come to a company not having that skill, but that paper is just proof that they can be taught and they can learn. So we believe that short courses will be the most relevant to counter the skills shortage in the fourth industrial revolution. We also think that universities need to restructure their offerings to actually align them with the fourth industrial revolution. For instance, somebody might actually be maybe in the field of agriculture. It doesn't mean that if they're in agriculture they need to go and do programming, but probably maybe they might need to focus, maybe have a little focus on smart farming and things like that, not necessarily going into the coding, but because if you look at it this way, every aspect of our qualifications, they've got an aspect of fourth industrial revolution. For instance, if we look at maybe HR, for example, maybe somebody might be arguing that HR does not need the fourth industrial revolution. But now with these online CVs that actually pick up words to select, to shortlist, instead of how long it takes actually if you get 1,000 CVs to actually shortlist to maybe 10 CVs. But now if you're using, in the fourth industrial revolution, you can use software that can actually pick up words from the CVs and then do that for you. So if people in HR could be taught that skill or could be helped to understand that could be of benefit to them, that might help, without actually taking them into programming or into IT, giving them IT skills. Okay, and then we also think that there are actually maybe some IT skills that are actually going to be required then, that might not be necessarily known today, but those, so the need for universities to be very flexible in terms of that, of new programs that are going to be emerging and maybe others becoming absolute. Okay, and then we also discussed how the workplace should integrate the fourth industrial revolution. We discussed that the businesses and the students needs to be future thinkers. You know, we need people who actually think ahead of the time, because yesterday's problem was solved, is probably being solved today, but today's problem will be solved tomorrow. So we need to actually think ahead such that we are already solving tomorrow's problem today, instead of the way we are doing it, where we are solving yesterday's problem today, but today we're supposed to be solving tomorrow's problem. We also discussed how we need more practical and in terms of our workplaces, they should now start making use of the practical aspect of the fourth industrial revolution. Instead, for instance, using drones, robots, satellite tracking, remote sensing, and all those technologies. Because if we now limit our businesses to what we have studied or what was there when we went to university, then we're actually losing out on what came out when between then, because probably some of us here maybe graduated 10 years ago, and the technologies that were there when you graduated are probably now absolute. So you need to keep abreast. So we need to rethink, to refocus, to look at better ways of doing things in the fourth industrial revolution. Just think of even the smartphone, how it has evolved. And it might not be great thinking. Whoever thought that your cell phone and your camera and your calendar would all be on one gadget at some point? You remember back then when you used to have a calendar on the wall and you had your camera there and you had your phone at home. Now they are all put together. So it doesn't mean that the innovative or the future thinking should be thinking very out of the box, or you should be maybe an Albert Einstein. It's just those small things that actually make the big things. I thank you.
We say thank you very much to Dr. Tapiwa. As I indicated earlier on, please, colleagues, note your questions, your additional input so that we can do that at a later stage. And now we're calling on Ms. Tansa. She's going to be talking about renewable energy. We welcome her with a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Program Director, and good morning, colleagues. Okay, I'm giving feedback on the renewable energy. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. After some deliberations and the guidance and wisdom from our two researchers, the Commission agreed on the research kind of a task. And the topic that we came up with is enhancing the role of renewable energy in the Northern Cape province, because it was realized that there has been some work that was done, for an example, with the solar street lighting, solar geysers that were installed in the communities that are partly functioning during certain times, and communities, they feel that they are not working for them. And the benefits, for example, of creating employment for young people were touched on, and then the challenges also were brought in, such as the lack of involvement, lack of communication and coordination on the money that has to be spent on the projects. For an example, the independent power producers, and also the policies on how municipalities work and the work that has been done before and the durability. All those challenges were brought in through the discussions, and also the key role players were identified, people such as your Department of Energy, ESCOM, the new mining companies, local government, IDC, economic and development, and also the provincial government was also identified. And again, as I said, that we decided to take the research route. We have identified the topic, and now the abstract, it has to be done. And the abstract, the timeline, we agreed on the 4th of October, and Dr. Sefadi and Professor Sengele will be our critical readers. And myself, I will be the admin, which means I will be sharing information with other people that formed the commission and getting their contribution and their views. Okay, moving on, we then spoke about the abstract. I mean, okay, the abstract we have spoken about. We then spoke about also the proposal that has to be put together for so that we are able to do the research. And as I said earlier, through Prof. Sengele, we agreed on the 29th of November as the cutoff time for the proposal, and that proposal also will be shared with members. And then there was a suggestion that it should be endorsed by the Premier's office, because there has from the key role players that we identified, because they are not part of this seminar, there has to be a presentation to them so that they buy in and we get their commitment. And the presentation of the proposal, it should be done by the 13th of December. It can be done before that. And also there was a suggestion by one of our colleagues that we need to involve the SETA, energy and water, as they might come handy here with the funding for the research and capital. And also the provincial treasury will also be involved. And the issue of ethical clearance, as you are all aware, those who are doing research, that you need to get some clearance if you are going to do interviews and so on, it was also brought in. And Prof. Sengele and Dr. Sefadi, they indicated that they will assist the commission with getting the clearance. And the follow-up of the approval by the stakeholders that will be doing the presentation to, their buy-in and their commitment, it should be, the expected time, it should be by the 15th of January 2020. And if that doesn't happen, myself as the admin of the commission, I will have to make follow-ups. And we said that this, because it's a research and it's sort of rolling, other things or other activities, they will be determined by the progress that we are making. But surely when we come back in a year's time, we will have to give the seminar a progress on what has been done. I thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I like the time frames that are very clear there. Thank you very much. And the next presenter is Mr. Mgaga. He's going to be talking to us and reporting on the role of partnerships. You need some power.
Yeah, it's so low.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give him a round of applause? I'm just worried that he might just think that I've got something against him.
Good day, still morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. Thanks, Mr. Program Director, for giving me this opportunity. I'll be representing Group 3 on the role of partnership and community engagement in enhancing economic growth for the Northern Cape Province. We approached our discussion trying to respond to the template that we have been given, meaning that we try to respond to those questions that were posed to us. There are 6 questions that we tried to answer or to discuss as a group, and the summary is as follows. What is the question number 1 is as to what is it required for the creation of partnership in the province. And the group agreed that there must be a clear vision, compelling motives and sound rationale, willing to participate, for partners to participate. Nobody should be forced, but they must be willing to participate, all of them. There must be specific outcomes that should be reached, and high quality output, mutuality and reciprocity in partnership, meaning that it should not benefit only one group, but all groups should benefit. Transparency and openness. There should not be hidden agendas for other people or organizations to find that they are pushing their own agenda on an expense of other stakeholders. We should identify relevant stakeholders and partners from the province and identify a driver which is agreed upon by the stakeholders and partners. Who are people who are responsible for all this? It will be PSET itself, it will be government departments, as well as communities. We should not exclude communities because we've got a tendency of involving other organizations, but the actual community members are sidelined. So if we don't involve the communities, knows that we are unlikely not to get it right. We move to another question as to what will be the purpose of the partnership formation. The purpose is clear. It will be enhancing of economic growth in the province, ensuring that PSET knowledge products meet societal needs, create wider access to relevant educational and training opportunities, identifying and utilizing local assets and sharing intelligence, memory, and resources, and creating access and relevant knowledge, formal, non-formal, and informal learning products to the communities, mobilizing PSET knowledge to bridge skills gaps, and conducting an audit of existing partnerships and determine the gaps that are existing, building relationships of trust with transparency and accountability. Am I there? No. Yes. Then, which are the organizations that should be responsible for all of this? We again say that it must be PSET driven with others. The responsibility, it will be the PSET, but other or main stakeholders, it will be the Department of Basic Education, communities, government, ICT sector, business, as well as the civil community. We move to another item of which are the organizations that have a natural cohesion for the formation of partnerships. PSET and the Department of Basic Education have got cohesion to present PSET and Department of Basic Education cohesion presents still gaps. Formation of partnerships, Wait. It's going so fast here. Okay, government currently premiers office and specific government departments with PSET. Skills development forums, communities, business communities, PSET industry, PSET and civil society. What forms of involvement are we doing in supporting the practical training from the PSET sector? Currently, articulation is in place. Practical training cannot be devoid of higher order thinking skills. Any existing partnership at the moment can act as an example. We have got the following partnerships currently that are existing in the province. University, mining partnership, CETA, business partnership, as well as business and labor partnership. We have got some of the challenges that have been indicated by the group. There is a need to be a greater collaboration between business and PSET. It has been realized that sometimes most of the businesses that exist in the province, they don't know what is it happening in CETA. So it will be important to encourage such collaboration. Greater business representation needs to be brought into PSET seminars such as this. According to the group, it has been realized that we are here mostly from tertiary institution, we are here from government institution, but there is a little participation from businesses that are available in the province. So in future, we should ensure that really we try our level best to drag the business people or business community to get involved, because those are the people who are the potential or employers of our communities, or those are the people who are key economic drivers in the province. Another gaps that have been identified, many businesses do not know about the funds available from CETA. So CETAs, we've got a huge responsibility to try to share our services with existing businesses.